Most people think the only thing holding back their business is leadership. But what if I told you there are actually 3 invisible lids stopping your growth? I'm Adam Sands, CEO of the Roofing Business Partner. In this video, we're breaking down how elite entrepreneurs like Elon Musk break through operational constraints, scale with precision, and use leadership as a measurable and repeatable system, not just a buzzword.
When you're trying to grow your business, there's 3 lids to leadership. A lot of people think that we have this one lid, which is our leadership ability. But through this journey of me trying to get better, what I've learned is that there's 3 lids to your leadership, because you have your belief lid. What do you believe your business can do? Do you, on a long enough time horizon, believe in yourself and believe in your business that it can, could, and should deserve to be a 10 million, 30 million, 100 million, or $1 billion business? Like, what is it that you believe your business can be? And if you don't believe in yourself, and if you don't have belief in your business, it's really hard to expect your team to. And money's not a virtue. Money's just a score. At the end of the day, the success of a business has to be measured in some way, and the ultimate scoreboard is the money. It's the revenue. And what you go to market offering is based on what you believe your business should do. Then it comes down to your ability to actually do it. And that's your operational effectiveness lid. You have to learn to be more operationally effective. Mark Andreessen said that the reason Elon Musk has been able to just drastically outperform and stay in the game, like Jeff Bezos got out of the game, and then now Bezos is at 231 billion and Musk is at 400. And like, what can we learn from that? Like, they're playing in a completely different realm. To kind of express that realm, if you had to guess how long in time, like a million seconds is, a million seconds is about 12 days. And so when we say, oh, so-and-so is a billionaire, we kind of use it almost as if it's the same thing as millionaire, because it's so far from where we are. And a millionaire is defined like a million in liquid assets. So you could own $1 million house or make $1 million in your business, but if it's not liquid in any way, then it's not an asset. You just generated $1 million worth of business. But a billion seconds, so with a B, is 30 years. So the difference between million and billion is a whole giant chasm. If you had to wait 1 million seconds to get where you want to go, or 1 billion seconds to get where you want to go, it's completely different. So to have 400 of those is a big deal. And so Mark Andreessen said that the reason Elon has succeeded to such a degree that others haven't in terms of the scoreboard, which is net worth, is because Elon runs his business very much like the Gilded Age American business owners did. And the Gilded Age is like frequently referred to as the day of the robber barons, right? Where you had the big business, Henry Ford and Carnegie. What they did was they were actually working on the factory floor. They actually went in and solved the biggest problem in the business. It was just removing the constraints, physical constraints, from the level of production that could happen to such a degree that they could buy up all their competitors and then basically apply those same systems. In many ways, Mark Andreessen, who works a lot with Elon and SpaceX, he said that, like, that's what he does. It's like, you will be a $123,000 a year, kind of part of a factory production line for something, and Elon will come and sit next to you for a week and say, this is the spot that's slowing everything down. How do we fix this? How do we solve this? People find a way to fix it and then execute. So that's what we mean by operational effectiveness, is your ability to be effective in improving the operation. And then yes, we get to the leadership lid, which is your ability to compel others to do it. As leaders, we kind of have to be able to quantify what is this amorphous word that is leadership, kind of this bucket of a word, and break it into something that can actually be measured and improved. And again, I'm not your guru. If you want the guru, go to books. And there's different reasons to have books. Like E-Myth is a very much a process-oriented book. Good to Great is very much an operating system for entrepreneurship. It's a study. It's really just a study in why do companies last 100 years and outperform their competitors over a long enough period that there's been recessions and contractions and expansions in the market to actually say, like, these companies legit outperform their competitors. And then I found the book Traction, and when I read it, I was like, holy crap, this is basically the handbook to building a good to great company. But when you read the 2 of them back to back, you realize, because I had a business owner that I worked for in the car industry who forced all of us to read this book, and at the same time I owned a roofing company. He told me to read this book, and I did, and I was like, holy crap, this is like the workbook to this book. And then Andy Grove's High Output Management, which is a really tough read, is really about systems thinking. He was the CEO of Intel, and there's a really good analogy in there about making a breakfast sandwich. Like, if you want to make a really high performing breakfast sandwich shop, you got to think, well, how long long does it take to toast the toast? How long does it take to fry the egg? And the timing of frying eggs and toasting toast determines how many toasters you need versus how much square footage, so to speak, of fryer cooktop that you need to cooking eggs, so that you can consistently deliver and understand the capacities of different departments to make it so that you have enough toast, enough fried eggs happening at the right time. The rest of the book kind of expands upon that concept. Really tough read, but it's a good book. And so this is like more of an operational effectiveness book. Sometimes you'll find, if you read enough of them, that there is common concepts. And so the example I like to use is, in Good to Great, they talk about the hedgehog concept, and that the hedgehog really only has one superpower. It can turn into a ball and be difficult to eat. So much tougher competitors like a fox, who has teeth, who can see farther, who can smell farther, who can hear farther, who can run faster. All of a sudden, the hedgehog can beat the fox because it can just go into a ball and be really not appetizing. And that is like a formidable competitor in that it understands what its unique trait is. In Traction, it talks about your three uniques. This thing might be a unique differentiator to some degree. This might be a unique differentiator to some degree, and this one. But when you combine your three uniques, you get this overlap where you can be best in the world, or best in class, I think is what they say it. But there are other concepts too. You'll see that there's like common themes. Another one, probably met this guy or heard this guy, and this is Brandon Dawson. Both really formidable and entrepreneurs, right? He's obviously a little more popular, but they both talk about this method of like leadership. He talks about the acknowledge, compliment, and ask method. So whenever you have like a person who need to correct or improve their behavior, you acknowledge what they're doing, compliment them for what they're doing, and ask them to do something different. And his is the acknowledge, motivate, ask. It's very similar things, and this is how you can become operationally effective, is by understanding what your three uniques are so that you can lean into them and then make it so that those things happen more often. Then you can kind of check the box that you're improving your operational effectiveness.